Hey everybody, welcome to Wednesday, May 20th to Module 21. Let's go ahead and get started. As a reminder, make sure that you are continuing to do IR this week. This is the last week of IR and all academic modules. And remember that I did add in an optional read aloud. So if you'd like to listen to me reading a story to you, a creepy, spooky story, that link is in the IR document and that can give you a little break from your book. Okay, I just wanted to start out with some shout outs today. And these shout outs, the first batch, are really just kind of shout outs to people who are just overall crushing it in e-school literacy. I wanted to shout out Kale and Ethan. Both of these two students, you have just been doing such a great job of being engaged, asking questions, letting me know if something isn't working. I just can tell that you're there, you're working hard, you're getting this stuff done. I also wanted to shout out Marin. Marin, you are almost always working ahead of schedule, and I just so appreciate the energy and effort you're putting into eSchool. Lastly, I wanted to shout out Rodis D. Rodis, you are somebody who, you are just always getting your modules in on time. They're always high quality. You are just working hard and getting eSchool done, and I'm super proud of you. I also wanted to give a specific shout out to Rodis C and show you her mastery check from yesterday. So yesterday we were writing about imagery and the impact of imagery on the text. So this is what Rodis says. The poet's use of imagery enhances the meaning that people should be kind to others, and then we will be able to live in this world. An example of imagery that the author uses is when she states, "No car must splash him." The imagery demonstrates the meaning that the care that this father has for his son should be shared amongst everyone in the world, because you can see the care that the father has for his son by making sure that no car splashes his son or comes too close. This is showing a sight sense, because you can see a man carrying his son and taking very careful care, and this imagery shows an example of a kind of act that should be done by all people. Therefore, the poet's use of imagery enhances the meaning that people should be kind to others, and then we will be able to live in this world because this father is taking really good care of his son by making sure no cars splash him at all and being very, very careful with his surroundings. One thing I love about this is that Rhoda specifically states the type of imagery using sight and how this image that the poet creates really teaches us a lesson about the overall meaning of the poem. Super strong. I also appreciated, Rhoda, that you have been reaching out for help, for feedback, and just really, really strengthening your writing throughout eSchool. Nice work. All right, y'all, so some feedback from Module 20. We are reading a poem. We're going to continue to talk about this poem by Naomi Shihab Nye today. And I got a lot of questions in Module 20 about kind of like the right or wrong answers. And I just wanted to remind you that when we're reading poetry, specifically when we're looking at this poem, it's all about interpreting the poem based on the text, based on the language. So based on what the poet is saying, what you're reading, what do you think it means? And the reality of this is that there's not necessarily a right or a wrong answer if you're reading carefully and you're thinking critically. It is possible to say something that's wrong if you haven't even really read the poem and you haven't sat with it. But if you're doing that, if you're really putting in the time and you're really thinking about it, trust yourself. It's really this relationship between you and the poem, the poet. The poet created the poem, and then you are actually able to read it and to think your own thoughts and have your own ideas about it. So just keep that in mind as you continue to write about it, that it's less about getting the exact right answer and more about just thinking really carefully and critically about the poem. Okay, here is our agenda for today. We're going to have our do now, some vocab, some direct instruction around analysis. You are going to review Shoulders, the poem you read yesterday, and The Gift of the Magi, and there's going to be a section for you in today's module to review. Then you're going to pull evidence from those two texts to create your written response. You'll notice here that you have 35 minutes in today's module. That's about how much time we budgeted for you to work on your written response. That will be your mastery check for today, and I think it's going to take you a little bit longer, so I want to make sure you have time to do that. Okay, objectives for today are that students will be able to analyze the similarities or differences in how characters express gratitude within The Gift of the Magi and Shoulders. And students will be able to write a strong analysis using a compound sentence that ties the claim to both pieces of evidence from each text. So you're going to be comparing those two texts. You're going to be using some of that grammar work we did around compound sentences to create a strong written response. So as I said a moment ago, the mastery check for today is your written response, and it is going to be about this prompt. The genre of The Gift of the Magi is prose fiction, while Shoulders is poetry. Both describe generosity. How are the characters in each text similar or different in their generosity? Use textual evidence from both texts to support your answer. Okay, so as I've said in previous videos, when I'm grading this, I'm going to be looking for quality of ideas and understanding of the text, and also strong writing. So please take the time to revise your writing, fix spelling errors, fix grammar errors, improve your word choice, all that great stuff. And I'm super excited to see what you will have to say. Have a great module. Talk to you later.